Bette Midler, singer, good one, actress, super talent. Last year, she starred in a hit movie, Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Now she is in Ruthless People with Danny DeVito. Ron Reagan took a look at the movie and this fine star.
We're dropping our price again to $10,000.
Do I understand this correctly? I'm being marked down? What is this, the bargain basement? I've been kidnapped by Kmart.
Okay, so along comes Ruthless People, which is another big success. And suddenly you're on...
Isn't that shocking?
Well,
no one is more
movie.
surprised than I. I mean, it's funny. It's a funny picture, but gee, 2 in a row, it's like, you know, it's great, great luck.
Bet you got an Oscar nomination for your first film, The Rose. Everybody thought that's fantastic, natural actress. She's going to be a big star. Next film, Jinxed.
And then Jinxed, yeah.
Jinxed.
Oh, I was trying to avoid that.
That one in the toilet. All of a sudden, nobody wants to hear from you. Did I say that on? But nobody wants to hear from you anymore after Jinxed. Did that tell you anything about Hollywood and the movie business?
I was saddened by it. In fact, I was. I didn't work for a long time. I couldn't work for a long time. But you know, I feel like I feel like all that's so far behind me, and I feel like I've really, like a phoenix, risen from my own personal ashes.
Well, you didn't have too many scenes with Danny DeVito in
One
on the end of the pier there.
Yeah.
But it looked like a lot of fun, and I understand he's a lot of fun to work with.
He's a doll.
Yeah.
He's a doll. I thought he was wonderful in that picture. I thought it was his picture. In fact, I was kind of surprised that I got the kind of reviews that I got when really his work was. I thought. I shouldn't say this. I thought his work was much better than mine.
You were very good. I mean, that whole transformation in the basement there of the house, but going from Miss Blimp to
yes,
to a svelte kind of aerobic individual.
I thought the whole arc of the character was very silly, and I jumped into it with both feet. It's the first time I've ever really allowed myself to look that lousy, and I actually got kind of a kick out of it. You know, when I saw the suit, the fat suit, I said, yeah, put it on me, so what? Well, a lot of people have perceived me as a fat woman anyway, for a lot of my career, so it didn't really bother me.
Now we get to Outrageous Fortune, which is your latest film.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's 2 sort of terrible actresses who hate each other's guts, who discover that Shelley Long and I. And we discover that we're both in love with the same man. And then he's killed. And we discover that he's not really killed because the body in the morgue is not his. And how we identify him, I won't tell. And this is the most I've ever worked in pictures. And I have to tell you, I love it, but it's a lot like going to a pineapple cannery. It really is. It's a lot like being in a factory. I mean, you get up at 6:30, and you have a half hour for lunch, and you're on your feet all day.
Yeah.
And so in that respect, you're just as pooped.
Why did you, I didn't ask you before, but why did you get into movies in the first place?
Well, because I didn't know you had to get up at 6:30,
you thought it was
and you
easy.
only had a half hour off for lunch. I thought it was much more glamorous than it turned out to be.
Now, you found something of a home at Disney Studios, and there you went to
Can you
Down in
believe
Beverly
that?
Hills.
Isn't that shocking?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people would be a little surprised.
I never imagined they would ever let me on that lot, because I have a bold reputation.
Raunchy.
Yes,
a little bit.
well, I'm trying to soften it a little bit. Bold, I like bold.
You like bold, okay.
Tomorrow, more of
It is now 8:47. Bette Midler, singer, actress, comedian. Ron Reagan talked to this multi-talented woman about a number of things, including her recent special on HBO.
So they got the spirit, and what a spirit it is. It's the spirit that only comes when you can stand on your flipper and say to the world, boom, boom,
Well, every time you sing the same song night after night, try to bring something new to it. And also energy, a certain amount of energy that's coupled with the spontaneity. That makes an evening sparkle, I think. God, I sound pompous. I don't mean to. I swear I don't mean to.
No,
well, I'm 40 now. I can sound pompous if I want.
You can sound pompous because you've started your own production company, All Girls Productions.
All Girls.
And your motto is, we hold a grudge.
Did you badmouth us before? You'll never work with us again.
Do you hold a grudge?
Oh, absolutely we hold a grudge.
You don't have to mention names, but against who or what?
Oh, please. Everybody in this town's holding. I'm sure they've all got their little bags worth.
All Girls' first project is going to be a story of Ina Ray Hutton, a big band leader in the 30s and 40s. What attracted you to her?
She was very spunky, and she was very lively, and she was very energetic. She was, in fact, adorable. She didn't just stand there and lead a band. She tap danced, and then she'd start to tap dance. She'd tell stories in the middle of a number, and I just adored her. That energy she jumps off the screen at you.
She sounds a little like somebody else.
Well, yes, I thought there was so much. We had so much in common. And plus, it's a wonderful story because she was put down for a long, long time because she really, really had great aspirations to be a jazzer, to be a jazz player, and they said in those days that women could not play jazz, and she was determined to show that she could make it in a man's world, and she did.
Well, you said yourself that you originally wanted to be a great dramatic
I did.
actress.
I wanted to be Eleanor Duse. I wanted to play Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
And I still believe I can play. I still believe I'd be a hell of a Lady Macbeth.
Well, then All Girls can launch a production of Macbeth. Do you really still want to be a dramatic actress as opposed to a comedian?
I think I have great potential in that area, but I feel that a lot of people might have thought that The Rose was a fluke, perhaps, but I've perceived it that I have a lot to prove. That every time I do a picture, I have to keep on proving myself. It's very, very tiring.
This is sort of pop psychology. All of a sudden, I hate to do this to you, but do you suffer from what some successful people, the insecurity that some successful people have, I guess, where they don't believe that they really deserve to be as...
You mean, do I think I'm a fraud?
In brief.
My tap dancing isn't very good. I have to confess that. But other than that, I do everything excellently.
No, you know what I'm saying. I mean, is there a sort of undercurrent of insecurity?
I think, yes. I think I'm insecure, but I really make an effort to transcend the paranoia that can come on you when you've wanted to do something and people won't let you. And I try to put that aside and just keep going, keep doing it, because perseverance in this business especially pays more than anything else, even more than talent, I think.
Yeah.
Just stick-to-itiveness really pays off.
Keep plugging away. Your Mud Will Be Flung album, comedy album, a lot of breast jokes in there, apparently.
Major.
And
so many.
And apparently some women are very upset about that.
Do you think?
All right.
Well, I like breast jokes. I've always been one. I've always made fun of myself. I've always sent myself up. And I think that they're very innocent, really. There's nothing salacious about any of my material. Most of my material is so silly that nobody could take offense at it.
Now, suddenly you're doing stand-up. Where did that come from?
You know, it all came from the same source. All these pictures and the idea to do a stand-up record and to actually stand up and be funny and not to be afraid of anything anymore. All that came really from my husband. We were talking about it one night, and he asked me what it was that I liked to do the best. And I said, well, I think I'm very funny. And he said, well, why don't you be funny? And that had never really occurred to me, to just be funny. But it seemed to me like to make a goal, to say what your goal was going to be, and then to go for it. I don't think I've ever really done that in such a determined way. And so I'm very pleased with the results. Very pleased.
Become a mom, and she talked with Ron Reagan about her family life.
We are so ridiculously married.
Yeah.
We really, both of us, jumped into it with both feet. We really like it. We have a real 40s relationship.
Yeah. Now, aside from sharing a bathroom, how has life changed? How is it different now that you're married?
Well, you don't think just about yourself, which is a nice change. You have to think about the other person. Oh, is he going to be home? I think I better get home. You know, what are we going to have? Who's cooking? You know, that kind of thing. It's more sharing. I really do like it. You know, when you just live with someone, in the back of your head, in the back of your mind is that thought, well, I can always get rid of this one. You know, you're not really fully committed. You know, I really don't like the way he combs his hair. I think I'm going to unload him. You know, it's terrible to say, but it's the truth.
Things sort of came together all at a...
Yes.
I mean, a lot of success now. Mm-hmm. You get married. You're turning 40. Any thoughts on turning 40?
I'm glad I managed to do it. I don't feel that different. I still have the child's mind, and I still have the same sense of awe and wonder at what goes on in the world. I'm still flabbergasted by how cruel people are to each other. Things can still shock me, and I think that's good. So I feel that I'm young at heart. Plus, I'm going to have a baby, so I
was just going to say, that's the next thing. You're going to have a baby. When's your baby due?
My baby is due, according to the doctor's chart, October 27th.
And are you going to do any kind of special underwater natural childbirth or anything? Or just...
Birth without violence. I don't know. I haven't got that far. I've read my Spock, and I have read How to Have a Baby When You're Older Than God, and but I haven't gotten to the actual labor part yet. Now that my picture is over, I'm going to jump into that pretty soon. Yeah.
You wrote a book a while back called Baby Divine.
Yes, I did.
And the moral of that, if I remember correctly, was that you should treasure your own uniqueness, what's special in you. Is that something you're going to try and instill in your own baby divine?
Oh, no, I want my child to blend in. I don't want my child to be different. How could I say that? I'm going to raise, I think a lot of moms these days want their kids to be, they don't want to give the kid sugar, they don't want the kid to watch TV, they want the child to read, they want the child to be bright, they want the child to be with it. And I think the child has a mind of its own. I think the personality that it develops. You have to go along with what it's giving off. I don't think you can really, it's not a piece of clay. I think you can give it guidance, but I think you also have to give it room.
I understand your child already has a mind of its own. It's waking you up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well, actually, it's this little feet.
Little flutter of it.
Flutter. Feet flutter. I like
Was that a surprise that babies don't sleep when you do?
I thought it was gas. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what. I had no idea. And then I saw my belly kind of going woomba woomba, and I thought, oh. So then I put down my book and I just watched it for a while. It's really enchanting.
Is this going to affect your career in any way, having a child?
Do you think it will? Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pay a lot of attention to where I am in relation to it. I don't think I would go on location so much, or if I did, I would take the child with me. I would like to give it a sort of normal upbringing.
Have you picked a name for the baby?
I would never tell you what my baby's name is, because people are always telling you that's a lousy name for a kid. Or I knew someone with that name and I hated their guts. So we're not going to do that.
Last question. Is there one song that you've recorded or sung that's closer to your heart than any others?
I think Friends. I have two versions of it. Well, a real silly version, and I have a serious version. But it pretty much says what all the stuff that I do is about. Well, are you going to play it?
Bette Midler.